So our next presenter for Rec X is Angela Foltz-Nordstrom. She's the Vice President of NIC. In this capacity, she works with federal and state executives to identify ways to improve the delivery of citizen and business services through digital government solutions. She has more than 20 years of experience working on policy, solutions, and technology to improve government efficiency, deliver results, and exceed the expectation of today's government customers. Most recently, her focus has been on bringing innovative digital government solutions to federal land agencies through the delivery of NIC programs like Your Pass Now. Prior to joining NIC in 2000, Angela served as the Chief of Staff to the Montana Secretary of State. This position included the opportunity for on-the-ground interaction with citizens on a daily basis, involvement in state public land issues, and working towards making government services accessible to all. Angela's professional career has taken her all over the country, but she calls Montana home. Of its vast public lands and parks, her favorite is Glacier National Park. Here to talk about Your Pass, a great idea for the great outdoors, Angela Foltz-Nordstrom.
So what a bunch of great ideas we've already seen today. And you know, the part that always amazes me is when you stop and think about how do we encourage folks to actually take advantage of this. You've seen the great pictures, you've seen the technology, but how easy and how accessible are we making it for folks to, from their home, take advantage of this? So we want to share with you today, NIC has been working, as you were saying, with federal, state, and local government with the focus on trying to make citizen and business services easier and more accessible. So you mentioned that my home was Montana, and I appreciate the fact that if you'll notice, the first picture is of the Montana State Capitol. I don't know if you did that as specific for me, Derek. But I actually hail from Nashville now, and what I would tell you is that there's this undying and overwhelming urge to be outdoors. So our solution that I wanted to present to you today is a simple digital solution where NIC partnered with the National Park Service. Your Pass Now makes the National Park entrance passes available electronically. A simple idea, but something that was much needed. So let's take a look at the video and go from there.
In today's digital world, the beauty and splendor of our national parks are just a click away. Visitors go online to take virtual tours of the parks, plan their visit, even reserve their favorite campsite. Despite all this digital access, purchasing a pass to enter our national parks can only be done at the park gate or at an authorized brick-and-mortar retailer. Until now. NIC, in cooperation with the National Park Service, created Your Pass Now, a digital marketplace that makes it easy and convenient to purchase national park entrance passes online in just a few simple steps. Simply select the park you plan to visit. Choose the type of pass you'd like to purchase from the drop-down menu. Enter your payment information and an email address for delivery, and that's it. Your park pass is delivered via email in just seconds and can be stored on your mobile device or printed for future use. In early 2016, Acadia National Park, Colorado National Monument, and Theodore Roosevelt National Park successfully launched Your Pass Now. But Your Pass Now has the potential to expand well beyond these 3 national parks. Your Pass Now is a digital platform solution designed and built with the ability to scale. Your Pass Now can be used by every federal, state, or local park, as well as any government agency that is responsible for public lands. For more information, visit yourpassnow.com.
So a pretty simple idea, isn't it? You would think that it's something that, make sure I get this, there we go, that's been there forever. It's just a simple electronic pass. But let's take a step back before we get to this great quote that Senator King proposed after this was deployed in his state. How long did it take us to get here? So first off, the need was identified. Senators from across the state of Maine were hearing from their visitors. We can't get into Acadia. The National Park Service was losing revenue as individuals went down different locations and didn't even realize that they needed to purchase a pass. So they reached out to the National Park Service. The National Park Service took that step that sometimes doesn't happen quite so often, but reached out and asked industry, what can we do? What's out there? How do we fix this issue and this situation together? Do you know they received over 40 responses to a request for information? And these weren't traditional large integrators. These were folks every day that are out there in the outdoor industry interacting and realizing and presenting different ideas. From there, the National Park Service decided, let's give it a try. Let's see what we can do. And so in late December, they launched a pilot program. They chose 3 companies, NIC being one of them, to release different electronic park passes. And the move was quick. Your Pass Now was deployed within 30 days of this decision. So it was great when Senator King was able to stand up at the end of January and celebrate those results. Talk about the fact that when you embrace that power of technology, that there's the way to create great ideas for the great outdoors. So let's start with the numbers. Within a 100-mile radius of us right now, sitting here today, there are 37 national parks. Think of how many National Park Service units there are in total. 410 National Park Service units. 120 of those charge some kind of a recreation fee. That means that folks are having to figure out a way to get access to those on a regular basis. 3, as you saw, of those National Park Service units are using Your Pass Now today. And in 2005 alone, there were 115 million visitors that paid to enter a National Park Service unit. That's a lot of people, a lot of families, waiting in line to purchase a paper-based park pass or having to find a store prior to heading to the park. And that's a whole lot of cars when you think about it. So what does that mean now that we know the numbers? What if every National Park Service actually adopted Your Pass Now or an electronic park pass? Well, the first result, of course, would be there'd be less time to wait in the park. We all remember back in Memorial Day of 2015 when the Utah Highway Patrol had to close down the entrance to the Arches National. With record attendance planned in 2016, what are our lines going to look like this year? Think of this as the fandango for the great outdoors. What if you had your pass before you even had to arrive? The other piece that we've talked about is in Acadia, where there's multiple entrances. Some of those are staffed and some of them aren't. There's an opportunity, we recognize, that you've got to have the ability to be able to use it both online and offline. This opportunity gives the national park members the opportunity to check those passes. This gives the National Park Service folks the time to actually use and focus their attention on serving those that are there, on protecting the land, on reaching out, versus having to figure out a way to get passes to everyone. Your Pass Now is also a way to outreach to our new park visitors. We've just seen some great video of the digital natives that want the information, that want the access. They want to have this lined up before them. It's also about the new families. As a mom with 2 kids, if I'm planning to go to Acadia for the first time, I guarantee you that I want to have my plan set before me before I get there. And having a pass on my phone and accessible is so critical. So with a simple use, Your Pass Now helps us to embrace that piece with technology. But let's think about it for a few minutes. What if we took this to the next step? What if we looked at all the national lands that we have out there and the federal lands that we have out there and applied this ingenuity that was displayed by the National Park Service, one that was embraced by Congress, which, as we all know, can be a challenge, and expanded it? So the Bureau of Land Management has over 18,000 permits and leases just for their grazing program alone. That means that there's 155 million acres of land where permits and leases are issued to ranchers. In fiscal year 2014, 43% of the range land management program was spent just on the grazing administration, and they collected $12.1 million in fees. Or let's look at another public land agency. The U.S. Forest Service, 75,000 paper-based permits are issued a year. These permits range from the permission to chop down trees for Christmas to high-value commercial mineral extraction. There's an opportunity here to apply this simple technology across here as well. And we haven't even talked about the states. Going back to my home state, 54 of the state parks, if you're a visitor to Montana, which I now have to call myself a visitor, are going to charge you to enter the state park. So when you decide to go visit Montana and you stop by Glacier, make sure you stop by the state parks as well. How about the opportunity to be able to get your state park pass? And we talked about the national parks. Well, within a 50-mile radius of where we're sitting today, there's 27 state parks as well. The efficiencies that could be achieved will take us to that next level. It'll take us back to what Senator King said when he was so proud to stand up as a former governor of the state of Maine and realizing that the efficiency, electronic park passes make it easier to visit. They're our most treasured places. It's going to maximize the sales. It's going to generate new revenue. By embracing the technology, we're embracing that new visitor and bringing them forward. So it's about less time waiting. It's about getting the opportunity to experience the parks today and to apply a simple technology to moving that forward. Thank you.